of coronavirus playlists.
And they're not bragging about it.
Huh?
They're not bragging about it like headstrong guys.
Like Trapped.
2 million spins.
Quarantined, a song by At the Drive-In. Remember them?
Oh, yeah.
It's another song that's seen a huge surge in sales, 70% up in the streaming for that. So, Pound with the Sickness, I don't think has seen any bump in streaming.
Well, it's still just number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't beat
Nowhere to
one.
go from there,
Disturbed is celebrating the 20th anniversary of the sickness. Hard to believe, but that's going to kick off mid-July outside St. Louis. I think it's coming here. Isn't the Disturbed tour coming here? They do July through September.
It did get disturbed
Yeah.
by the sickness.
What?
It got disturbed by the sickness. Get it?
Nope.
Okay.
Don't be such a Karen, Poundcake. Wait.
Oh,
Stop being
here we
such a
go.
Karen.
Okay.
And I do realize I just invited that to the whole show.
Block
That's all we're gonna
everybody.
hear now.
Literally block everyone.
Hey, Dre.
Hey, what's up, Alan?
What's going on, Dre?
Hey, I got a problem with the Karen thing with Mary.
What?
I feel like that's a point of reference that people understand, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And so when somebody says Karen, you instantly know what they're talking about. So Mary has a problem with people overusing it. But Mary has been hypocritical, I feel, because she overuses the bit where y'all so-and-so is playing at the Agora. She overuses that. Like, it's funny. It's a funny bit. I love it. But Mary is the main one on the show that overuses that bit. Like, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like,
Good point, Dre.
I feel like, exactly. You overuse that
Let
bit.
me ask you this. How much is too much?
Too much is playing at the Agora this weekend, but I don't, but, you know.
Hoisted by my own petard, as it were. Speaking of overuse. Yeah, okay. Well, listen, I kind of made a conscious decision, too, that after 2019, we weren't saluting anymore. Right? We had general
I like
anesthesia.
that bitch, and I still do that in my
But
personal life.
and a lot of people do, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like I think I have a pretty good sense of like when something on this show has kind of jumped the shark, and then I'll do it another 10% beyond that, you know.
Right. I love,
But we're way. I feel like we're way decreased on the playing live bit because it started when Erica was here. We started it as opening for Hawkeye. The original bit was opening for Hawkeye,
Right.
And then it was playing at the Agora or whatever. But how much is too much is a tough thing to figure out.
I love Mozgov. I love Satan. I love all the bits.
That's not a bit. They call.
I love Mozgov. I love Satan. There's a couple of phrases you don't hear that often. Yeah.
But
okay, can I?
So hypocritical to say
I'm not
that.
being hypocritical, Dre. Can I talk for a second?
Go ahead.
The difference in that is that that's a bit that originated on this show that everyone on this show does and is specific to us.
Yeah, but Karen is it's the same type of bit. It's a bit that's kind of like nationwide. It's the same type of thing, is what I'm saying.
Actually,
And that's okay.
It's a point of reference, like he was saying.
Right.
She just doesn't like it. Just don't like it.
It just drives me crazy.
Okay, it drives her
I'm
crazy.
not hating on you, man. I love you, man. But I just wanted to throw that out there. That's all.
I love you too.
I'll tell you
but I
one
don't
thing.
know if that's hypocritical.
I'll tell you one thing after this.
I'm just saying.
You ain't gonna forget about Dre.
It's my karaoke song.
All right, Joe.
Hey, thank you, Dre.
Thanks,
All right,
Dre.
thank you, brother.
Thanks, Dre.
All right, stay safe out there.
Do I overuse that? Do I say it too much?
According to Dre.
According to Dre, you do. I don't feel like that's getting that much play anymore.
No, we haven't really done
ain't
it.
nothing playing nowhere.
Because we haven't had any.
I told him on the phone. I said, "Are you sure you want to move forward with that?" I was like, "It's kind of a downtime right now. No one's really playing anywhere. I think we want to keep hope alive. I think that's maybe why she says it." He's like, "No, let me say it."
Let me talk to her.
Okay.
Let me be me.
I was like,
He's got to speak his truth.
Do you, brother? Do you?
And tell me what to do. If you listen to the show on iHeartRadio, tell me where you do that. If it's out of state, Dustin is a new bureau chief in Columbia, South Carolina. Kenny is in Sherman Oaks, California. Adam's in Atlanta. Luke is in Intercourse, PA. And we never heard back from Chris. Chris was our guy at McMurdo Station in Antarctica.
Whoa.
And then I mentioned months ago that there had been a fire down there.
I remember that.
And I only half-jokingly said, hope Chris is okay. You know, I never heard back. So I say, not jokingly at all, I hope Chris is okay. By the way, Antarctica, the only place in the world as yet untouched by the coronavirus. Because they're so isolated.
There's a lot of snow there.
But no, they don't have the coronavirus yet down there. So there's research facilities, and there are a lot of scientists down there. Listen, if there's
Thawing
anybody...
and praying pretty good down there.
Huh?
That's why.
Thawing and praying.
Thawing and praying.
Thaws and prayers?
Thaws and prayers.
How do you get down
Listen,
there?
we know what happens in the Antarctic when a virus starts to spread, all right? At first it takes over the dog, and then it turns into something else, and then it climbs through the roof, and then it takes over a couple of other guys, and the next thing you know, Kurt Russell's got a flamethrower, and we're in really, really bad shape.
That's the thing.
I was reading...
I was waiting.
I'm so lost.
That's the thing.
Yes.
You guys didn't get it. I got it. Thank you. Yeah. I was reading this morning that 8 strains of the coronavirus are circling the globe. Now, the silver lining is they said none of them are any more lethal. It's not like they're increasing in intensity. But any virus is going to mutate, and they're like, yeah, there's multiple strains of the coronavirus, so, you know.
So one vaccine might not help the other types.
Again, this is just something that's going to be part of life now. You know, once things settle, it's just, you know, coronavirus is going to be a thing that's like in the world now in this form or another. And it's not like it's unprecedented in any form. It's just this one we're unfamiliar with. Mm-hmm. Alan, Mary gets mad at the Karen thing, but that's the way scientists feel whenever you guys get science wrong, and mathematicians feel whenever you get math wrong.
First of all, there's no way to know math. Second
Simply
of all,
no way to know.
science is just like prayers. You don't really know how it works. It's just faith.
Yes, faith and science is how. Right. Plus, we have never purported to be either mathematicians or scientists.
Well, these people that use Karen don't claim to be comedians.
But wait, Alan, I legit have a question. How does one get a flight to Antarctica?
Book it. Priceline.
Like, how do they take a ship down there? Do they fly? How does one get to one of those ports down there?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because if life were to go, you know, crazy, and they're like, oh my gosh, the safest place in the world that doesn't have coronavirus is Antarctica. I want to hop on that boat.
Well, if you Google flight to Antarctica, it says, did you mean Argentina? So that tells me it might not be real easy to...
They don't have an airport down there?
I don't think you can fly in. No.
They don't have Chick-fil-A at one of their airports or like Popeyes?
There are fly cruise trips to Antarctica where you take a flight to Chile and then you... I don't know, fly to Chile, I don't know.
And then you take a boat from there, probably?
There are no commercial flights that operate to Antarctica itself. You would have to book with a private charter operator.
Ooh, that's scary. Wow. Because you don't know where they're taking you. They're like, yeah, this is Antarctica. And in reality, you're just
I have a feeling if you're
at.
paying them, they're going to take you where you want to go.
Well,
and there's simply no way to know if my private charter operator is going to take me where I paid him to take me.
You got to go to like the southernmost point of Chile, and then you fly from there. I don't know how long that would be.
So, yeah, you can go to the Antarctic.
I was just curious.
They don't have any, there's no, like, restrictions on going down there.
There's no resorts or anything? Like,
Yeah, I don't think there's any resorts.
No Atlantis, no King Triton Island, get away?
I don't think so, no. It's very, very cold.
That got to be something.
It's,
Really pretty, though.
What do you do for tourism?
It's
There's
not
no
a tourist
tourism.
destination.
It's a continent. Why wouldn't they have something on there for us, all of us to enjoy? Why I just got to be scientists?
You can enjoy it, it's just that it's not sunny. It's the wrong latitude for it to be like that. You couldn't get there, and I mean, I guess you could.
I mean, Alaska's 30 hot, or Alaska is dark for like 30 days, right?
I don't know.
It can be. I was explaining that whole thing to my daughter. Yeah, that there are parts of the world that experience long periods of
darkness
Did she
and
correct you on
sunlight.
things? She's like, actually,
Right.
Dad, this is how it goes.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she goes, I know what a mangrove is. I already told you about the mangroves.
She goes back to that well.
A mangrove is trees going in salt water. It's so cool, isn't it?
No, she doesn't go back to that well, but for the bit, she does.
Did it out of my face, oh man?
Yeah, that's older one. So, yeah, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. What else? You know, with all of this hubbubaloo about these high-profile people either falling ill to the coronavirus or dying from it. We neglected to mention last week that, where is it? Curly Neal passed away. Nothing?
No.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's very sad.
Curly Neal died.
What was he, like 70?
He was the bald guy. Yeah, he was Scooby-Doo, and he was 77 years old. He didn't die from coronavirus, but, you know, they were very, very famous for a long time. Like Meadowlark Lemon was in there, and yeah, these guys, because he was the bald guy, so he was easily the most kind of recognizable in animated form. And he's passed away. What was the other team? The Washington Generals? Is that who played the Harlem Globetrotters?
Correct.
Yeah.
They won one time.
They won one time?
I think they won one time.
Because they let them win.
No, I think the
Really?
the Generals was just like, you know what? Today we're going to win.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. He inspired millions of people, someone said. He died at his home just outside Houston. His name was Johnson C. Smith. But because he shaved his head, of course, they called him Curly. Because it's like when you call a fat guy tiny. It's just funny. It would be weird, though, if you were a legit athlete. Because those guys were athletes. They played college ball, you know. And then you're running around. You still get to play ball, but, you know, you got a bucket full of confetti and the whole thing. That would have been weird. Joined the Globetrotters in 1963.
I didn't realize they've been around so long.
Long time.
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain was a Globetrotter early on. So, pretty wild. But for those of you who aren't old enough to remember, Curly Neal was a legendary part of the Globetrotters. Wilt Chamberlain used to say, if you were a young black kid in the 40s, there were two things you loved. You loved Joe Louis, and you loved the Harlem Globetrotters. And Curly Neal is dead.
He was on an episode of Futurama that I remember.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
They were skipping through time, and the Globetrotters helped the professor with some of the science, because they weren't just Globetrotters, but they were... You find out they're actually from another planet, and they're really smart.
Oh? Mm-hmm. Hey, you know, we were talking earlier, they had the big...
they do that, now that I think about it. They invade from another planet, and they just come and crack wise about their mamas and stuff. It's a really funny episode. I enjoyed it.
All right. They were talking earlier about that iHeart concert from people's living rooms last night. There was Elton John and Dave Grohl and all that. Why didn't we have Pitbull as part of that?
Because he can't sing.
He dropped a new jam.
Did he?
Yeah. A message of hope. That's what Pitbull's all about.
Mr. 305.
Well, he's Mr. Worldwide now, Poundcake. Mr. 305 when he was still just kind of local, when he's still shouting out, Dale!
What does that mean, darling?
Dale.
Tell me.
D-A-L-E. Yeah.
What does it mean?
Tell me. Say it, kind of, right, I think.
Like, hey, it's just an
Dale.
exclamation, kind of, yeah.
Ah.
I Believe We Will Win is his new jam.
Catchy.
Have you heard it?
But it said Mr. Worldwide reporting live from the rooftop of Slam. And if there's any time to check in for the world, it's right now. Now's when we take fear, and it's not forget everything and run. No, it's face everything and rise. And the reason that I wanted to do it here on the roof and show that city right behind me, Miami. Because Miami.
I wanted to show it before it's underwater in 18 months.
It's what taught me how to fight. And I want to give that to everybody in the world right now. I said, that's when we got to stick together. We got to fight hard.
Listen, I'll tell you something. Pitbull is too frequently overlooked when you're looking for bold sources of inspiration, right? You've got
How
your
often are you looking for bald sources of inspiration? I'm
Well,
always
it
looking
depends
for
what you need.
inspiration.
Wait, how
but-
often am I, or how
Yeah.
often is the royal you?
Oh,
Because that
both.
probably
I would like
differs.
to know both. Yes.
What
What do you say on average?
On average, how often you're asking? How often am I looking
Yes.
for bald sources of inspiration?
Yeah.
1 in 4?
Probably thrice weekly.
Okay.
Is it too much? Too little?
It's
Should I
up to
ease
you.
off?
It's no.
Yeah.
No, it's up to you.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get a baseline here to understand, because I would say for me, bald sources of inspiration, probably, I mean, maybe I'm a little low, once a month. Tops.
Once a month.
Yeah.
Even with Curly Neal gone.
Yeah.
Wow. I would think that would jack it up.
Now I have a question.
Yeah.
If you get inspiration, you're looking for a bald source of inspiration, right? But you get it from another source with hair. Are you like, man, I wish this was coming from a bald guy? I would trust it more, or I would feel better. I would feel more inspired if this were a bald source.
I wouldn't be inspired.
No. I'm not more inspired if someone's bald. I'm saying that I think bald men, if it's not by their own volition, right? If they're not voluntarily bald, I think that in and of itself is a source of inspiration. I can only think how my life would be immeasurably changed if I had no hair.
Shave your head.
My hair is all I have. My lustrous locks are all I have.
We should all give ourselves a haircut while we're in.
No,
I'm not
God.
cutting my own hair.
We're sitting there last night and Gwen goes, you should let me cut your hair. She goes, I think you should let me cut your hair. I go, I'm sure you do.
Absolutely not.
Everybody
That
should
is
have to-
not going to happen.
We all cut our own hair.
Nope.
See
No
who
way.
does the best.
Growing it out.
You just got your hair back.
It's funny.
Why would you do that?
Because I want you guys all to do it too.
I'm not cutting my hair. You're out of your mind.
No, you goddamn Floby in here.
I don't have any hair to cut. I'm not cutting my hair.
Yeah.
Show how powerful it is when we come together. And this right here is a world anthem called I Believe That We Will Win.
Listen, I don't think there's anyone more inspiring with songs that no one can understand than Pitbull. And that's part of his appeal. You just throw enough mess, on tape, and then you play it back and you go, it sounds like something that they could use.
This might be music.
Yeah.
now that's what I call something that might be music. Volume 10.
This might be music, Volume 10, featuring Pitbull. Who else is on it? It's all Pitbull.
It's all
Just Pitbull.
But I guarantee this is something that he had in his back pocket and was ready to sell to Major League Baseball or the NBA.
Yeah.
And they were like, crap. It's called I Believe We Will Win. He goes, I guess I'll just say that's for coronavirus then. It was going to be for the Miami Heat. So, listen. Say what you want about Peter Itbull. That's his full name. But, he's out there trying to keep people glass half full. You can only sing about drinking so much.
Fireball.
Now, ironically, when you drink a lot of Fireball, you also believe that you will win.
All of it.
Every single argument,
Doesn't
every
matter.
fight you get into,
You won't.
everything. You won't.
You won't.
Life. You win life.
It's not called I will win. It's called I believe I will win.
We were walking in the
Belief
Metro
is a
Park.
powerful thing.
We were walking in the Metro Parks. There was an empty bottle of Fireball next to a tree, and my niece went to go pick it up. I was like, no, don't do not.
You're like, Daddy, don't do that.
Absolutely not.
Listen, there will never be a more... no one has had a better time than someone who has left behind an empty bottle of Fireball.
Right, in the park.
Yeah.
Of all places, just behind a tree.
In the park. I want to get ripped out of my gourd, but I still want to be surrounded by nature.
Yeah, I want to climb a tree.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, climbed a tree. I highly recommend it if you haven't climbed a tree in a while. I got cut up. Look at my arm.
Sounds
I
like you're
fell.
not.
I fell out of the
Yeah,
tree.
I don't want to fall and I don't want to get cut up.
It's not that bad. I got scraped.
Yeah, I don't want to do
But
that.
it was really fun to be up there.
If you're a Tim and Eric fan, Eric Heidecker has a new song out as well that he did with his daughter in his house about coronavirus. You know Tim and Eric? Mm-hmm, yeah. I forget Eric Heidecker was in, or Tim Heidecker, sorry. I forget that he was in Us. He and Elizabeth Moss were the white couple in Us.
Yeah, they were good. They made good white people.
Yeah, they made really good white people.
I really believe they were white.
His song is called This Ain't No Livin'. Did it from his house.
I can kind of remember the times before things went down the drain. Me and you used to sit around and all we would do was complain. Now the shelves are empty and people are starting to lose their cool. I don't know how this ends, but I'd like to know when I can send my kids back to school. This ain't no living to me.
He's got a good voice.
Yeah, he does. It's like, I thought it was going to be like a funny song, but it's
Yeah.
pretty serious.
It doesn't mean that it can't be funny, Bill. Wait until he calls his daughter Karen. Don't be such a Karen.
But don't stop the caring for others.
He does have a new sitcom, by the way, if you watch Adult Swim. It is called Beef House.
It's about Bill's daughter.
Yeah.
Future daughter.
Beef House, yeah.
Yeah, he wants to name his future daughter Beef.
It's a good name for a girl.
Yeah, by the way, I was told, before we go to break here, and it is going back a ways in the show, but I was told that Tyler and Caitlin from Teen Mom did go on to have 2 other children that they kept
Well,
and are married.
Ain't that something?
they weren't teenagers when they had
I'd be
those
pissed.
ones.
I'm coming back and I'm damning you from hell.
Well, it would be weird if you were a teenager and you gave your damn you to hell. If you gave your kid up for adoption because you were a teenager, but then got married and went on to have a couple more kids. I'm sure that plenty of people have been in that situation.
But it wasn't that much later. We're not talking about like a decade later. We're talking about like 3 to 4 years later.
But there's a big difference between 16 and 20.
Yeah, your fortunes
that
can
much,
change.
it's still-
Yes, that much. You're not in school. You're not living with your parents. You probably have a job. These are all hypothetical. Some
You got
people
all that TV
still,
money.
Yeah, you drive a
live with
nice
their
car because you got
parents.
Teen Mom money.
Yeah.
Money.
Teen Mom Mummy.
Teen Mom Mommy edition.
Now there's the new
Yes.
spinoff.
Yes, but like if they
Teen Mom Mummy.
I feel like if they knew they were getting the show, then why wouldn't you just keep your child? Keep your little cash register.
Because the only reason they got the show is because they were giving the child up for adoption.
Yeah, they were like the outlier couple. They needed a different vibe on that show.
Still.
Hello, mummy. Maybe it was a British version, like Poundcake could be in it.
Big lips, my dear.
That's right.
Teen Mom Mommy.
That was me when I came out of the womb.
Cody.
You're 16, eh? Big lips, my dear. No one they put me in for adoption.
Mrs. Brown, it's a healthy British pervert.
Big lips, my dear.
Oh, Angela Bassett. The things you've seen. All right, I got a break. If you want to get the last word in, shoot me a text, 35192, and we'll be back after these.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you